welcome to Your Health, where we explore the latest in health across the country. I'm your host, Erica Cardenas. If you're like many Americans, you're suffering from all of the pollen this season. So today, we're talking allergies. But before we get started, let's take a look at what's coming up on today's show. We'll talk to an expert on how to weather your allergy symptoms. And we give parents advice to protect their kids from brain injuries while playing sports. Plus, one woman's battle with addiction and her road to recovery. All that and more on this episode of Your Health. Well, allergy season is here and it's in full swing. If you're like me, you're definitely feeling the effects. But thankfully, we have Dr. Amy Shaw with us today, who's going to give us some tips on dealing with allergies. Welcome, Dr. Shaw.
Thank you so much.
So first off, why is this allergy season so bad?
Erica, allergy season is getting worse and worse every single year. We have 50 million Americans suffering from allergies today, and that's a lot more than even just 20 years ago. So we know we have kind of an epidemic on our hands.
How do you know then if it's seasonal allergies versus not seasonal?
Well, that's a great question. So the biggest confusion is between a cold and allergies. So a cold often feels exactly like allergies. So one of the things I ask people to think about is, one, does it get worse when you're around trees or grass when you're outdoors, or is it just the same all the time? A cold usually lasts about 3 to 5 days and then it goes away, whereas allergies are kind of low grade all the time. And the biggest thing to tell between a cold and allergies is itch. If you have itchy eyes, itchy throat, or if you have itchy skin, that's a huge sign that this is allergies and not a cold.
So one thing that I do notice when I'm really suffering from allergies is that I feel so drained. I get super tired. So why do allergies cause fatigue?
And if you think about it, it's like your immune system is fighting a war, right? It is going into your sinuses, it's attacking these things that it finds to be enemies. It's draining to your body to be constantly fighting this battle. All your resources are kind of diverted to fighting these allergies, so that's why you feel fatigued.
Yeah. Do you have any tips on what we should be looking for when we're looking for allergy medicine?
Okay, so I like to break this section up into kind of natural things you should be doing, medication-based things you should be doing, and maybe foods and like supplements you can be using. So in terms of medications, let's talk about that first. Nasal sprays like Flonase, Nasonex, and Q-Nasal, those things, nasal steroids are the #1 thing that helps with allergic rhinitis. So when we looked at, people always think it's Zyrtec or Claritin or Allegra over-the-counter pills, but it's actually the nasal steroids that help the most, and you have to start early, about 2 weeks it takes to get the full result. And that's where I would go with the medications. When you're talking about natural stuff like a neti pot, where you actually use natural nasal saline to kind of clean out the passageways. Foods is the third category. Yeah. Pineapple has an enzyme called bromelain, and it acts like an antihistamine. Another one is turmeric. Turmeric root, as you know, is like a super anti-inflammatory root, but it also helps a lot in allergies, which is surprising.
Is it safe to do a nasal spray all year round?
Okay, so this is something that you should really look into. So make sure that your nasal spray is not a decongestant nasal spray. We don't want you to be using a decongestant every single day. What we want you to be using is something like a Flonase or a Nasonex, a fluticasone. I would say it is safe to be using the nasal steroids, not so great to be continuing to use a nasal decongestant. One of the last things I'll say is allergy immunotherapy can be really helpful to those people who really can't get a handle on allergy season.
Okay, well, thank you so much, doctor. If you'd like to contact Dr. Shaw, just head over to her website. According to a recent report, football, basketball, soccer, and bicycling were the sports most likely to send your kids to the emergency room for a traumatic brain injury. We talked to the experts to get advice on keeping your kids safe while playing sports.
When we deal with kids' sports, we see much more in the way of concussive injury. People need to understand that young women's sports have a very high incidence of associated concussion, even more so than young boys playing football.
Being that I'm involved in sports, I wanted her to try everything, and soccer was one that a lot of kids at a young age start, and so because of that, I introduced her to it.
I've been playing soccer for about 5 or 6 years now, and I like how there's a lot of running involved, and I've been really liking soccer.
Good.
So the first thing is to remove somebody from play. The next important thing is to keep them from play until they have no symptoms, no headaches, no short-term memory issues, no behavioral issues, no nausea, vomiting, no dizziness. Everything has to be at baseline before you even think of returning them to play.
You're always worried as a parent. Anything, I'm worried if she rolls her ankle, but her head especially with the concussions and the brain swelling is a scary thing. So I just try to tell her to learn how to use her body a little bit better than leading with her head.
The best things to prevent injury are to make sure a child is prepared and ready to play a certain sport, to make sure that they understand the specifics of the sport, that the equipment is pristine and the best equipment you can have, make sure that the playing conditions are optimal.
I just talk to her about how to play the game the right way in all the sports she does, just so she can learn about the safety precautions about it.
All parents should educate themselves on how to recognize concussion and take a responsibility not only for their own children but for everybody else playing.
I just feel that sports in a whole is good for kids. It teaches them life lessons and it teaches them how to live a healthy lifestyle, and if we can get these kids to play the sports and the games properly, then it should benefit all our youth today.
The Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America ranked U.S. cities in 2019 as spring allergy capitals, and McAllen, Texas took the lead. If you'd like to see where your city ranked, just head over to their website. Here's what's coming up next on Your Health. A revolutionary way to treat ED, and see how one woman's journey led her to heal at Decision Point. At Peak Health, they say they have a revolutionary treatment for ED with no pills, no needles, and no side effects. Take a look.
My name is Brian Miller. I'm the clinic manager at Peak Health Scottsdale. Peak Health Group is a specialty clinic that treats solely in the treatment of erectile dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction is very common. It affects over 30 million men from any age. It's a problem that starts very slowly. We treat vascular erectile dysfunction, and that's something that's going to happen over time, and some guys won't notice it until one day they wake up and all of a sudden start realizing that they're not as strong as they used to be, and then it becomes a problem. When treating erectile dysfunction, the most common treatment form are pills, and then as the problem continues and the dosage will increase. Some guys will even get to the point where the pills won't work, so they look for alternatives. And one of the alternatives are injections into the penis itself. Those injections can cause some problems. They can cause a disease called Peyronie disease, which is curvature of the penis. So there are some definite side effects to watch out for with injections. The number one cause of ED is plaque buildup in the penis itself. That plaque builds up in the very small microscopic vessels that block blood and prevent blood from entering into the penis, causing an erection. What our treatment does is it removes the plaque by using acoustic sound wave therapy to blast out the plaque, let the body process it naturally. It also promotes new blood vessel growth So we kind of attack it at two different angles. We break out the plaque that's going to stop the blood from entering so you can get that normal blood flow. We're also going to promote new blood vessel growth, so you'll also get an increase in the new blood flow to help get you back to that natural spontaneous erection. The treatment procedure consists of 6 short office visits that take approximately 20 minutes. You'll come in and meet with our tech and go over a couple of questions. The treatment will be applied. It's a quick, painless treatment. The staff here at Peak Health are very sensitive to the condition that you're experiencing right now. Our doctors are very professional, and we keep our patients' information confidential. One of the most enjoyable parts about working here at Peak Health is when you get to talk to guys and they come up and shake your hand, and you can see the big smile on their face and how just their lives have changed. Their marriages have gotten better, their confidence has improved, and they just have a better sense of well-being. If you're suffering ED, you don't need to go through it alone. If you like more information about the treatment that we perform here or just about ED itself, feel free to call 480-550-6640, or you can look up our website at www.peakhealthlife.com.
Getting on a path to recovery was a struggle for Izzy, but with the help of Decision Point Center, she's on her way to success.
Where I grew up was like, if you can keep doing the stuff you need to do and you can still manage to get messed up, then like it's fine. That lifestyle stayed with me. It was, if I had a good day, I wanted to get drunk. If I had a bad day, I wanted to get drunk. I lived with my good friends at the time, and I guess they got to see me behind closed doors. I kind of tried to play it off like, I'm fine, everything's fine. Like, I didn't want my problems to be like a burden on them or kind of seem like I was like throwing a pity party for myself. They got to see me become like an isolation drinker and disappear kind of inside. Like, people talk about how when they go to treatment, they're like in a shell of themselves, and like that's what it was. They've been talking with Decision Point, and they gave me an intervention, and they said, we can't help you, and like we know you can't help yourself, but like we're taking you to some place that can, and it did. Decision Point has done so much for me. I don't even know where to begin. Their group therapy is awesome. Like, I had never been in that type of a setting before. They wanted me to talk about my problems, and like I've never really had that. My feelings and hardships, they were important, and they made me okay with myself in ways that I had never been even before I started using drugs. I've had friends that were girls my entire life, but it's never reached the level of depth that it did when I was there. A&R was awesome, activities and recreation. They do a really good camping trip. It's a lot of fun. We also did, recovery-oriented exercises. Like, we had time to kind of meditate in the forest alone. It was just nice to be out of a treatment setting and being able to enjoy myself and knowing oh, this is actually gonna be possible. They set me up for living a life outside of treatment. I still live in Prescott. I go to meetings in my home group. I work at a restaurant here, and I also house manage. I fellowship, and I just surround myself with sober people. It's crazy that I can wake up and know that I'm capable of living a day, going to work, getting errands done, doing things that I never used to be able to do without either being on something to give me the energy to get through it or drinking something afterwards to reward me. That's something that I never thought that I would have for myself. Thanks to Decision Point, I've been sober for 16 months.
Pharmacists say during allergy season to take your vitamin C. It blocks the formation of histamine, which is the cause of allergy symptoms. You can get vitamin C in many foods as well as in a supplement. Here's what's coming up next on Your Health. We talked to one patient about the importance of a team in fighting breast cancer and how one group is helping seniors feel more connected. Breast cancer is the most common form of cancer for a woman, with a 1 in 8 chance of developing breast cancer in her lifetime. Terry says a team approach is what helped put her on the path to wellness.
I am a breast cancer survivor of the left breast, HER2 now, triple positive. I was doing my self-breast exam and I discovered a lump in my left breast. I was at stage 3. I had no other symptoms other than the lump. I felt normal, I felt healthy, I felt strong. I was required to have chemo, followed by surgery, a lumpectomy, just to remove the area where the cancer had been, and then they followed up with radiation.
She's recovering really well. And
So she's the perfect patient to illustrate how important it is to have a team of physicians taking care of patients.
it's important when a woman has breast cancer that she is really comfortable with her entire team of physicians, so that she is comfortable sharing information with them. But also from the standpoint of the physicians involved in her care, it's really important that we work together well and collaborate well.
I have the whole team, from your oncologist to your surgeon to your radiologist, are all right here. It's in one location.
My name's Cynthia Lynch and I'm a medical oncologist here at Cancer Treatment Centers of America, Phoenix.
I am Dr. Marnie Spear, and I am the Chief of Radiation Oncology and the Chief of Staff at Cancer Treatment Centers of America in Phoenix.
I'm Raquel Crotty. I'm a breast surgeon at Cancer Treatment Centers of America, Phoenix.
They feel so taken care of when you acknowledge that all of you speak all the time about them. They feel special, and they feel that their best interest is in the hands of a whole group of people who care about their cancer therapy.
We treat patients in a real multidisciplinary way, and we have not only very competent physicians, but we have a very close relationship.
Patients love that we communicate with each other.
And they specialize in dealing with cancer. I wanted people that were competent so that they were very knowledgeable about all the different treatments, about all the different side effects that goes with those treatments, and that they focused just on this.
We know our literature. We are well evidence-based, taught physicians. We keep up with the literature. We know our stuff. But at the same time, we love the touchy-feely part of breast cancer therapy. We hug our patients. We allow them to cry with us, and we cry with them. And we make sure that they know how well they're taken care of.
Another way to keep allergy symptoms at bay is sinus rinses. Doctors recommend to use a neti pot to flush the allergens out of your sinuses. We'll be right back. We show you how an organization is helping seniors feel like a part of the community, and some final tips on keeping allergy symptoms under control. Life can be very lonely for seniors who don't have family nearby. Now there's an organization that's helping them feel more connected.
My name is Deborah Detterman. I'm the Executive Director of Foothills Caring Corps. Foothills Caring Corps is a 501c3 that was put together to get isolated and lonely people out of their homes so they could become part of the community. As the baby boomers start getting older, we're seeing more and more people needing our services. And we have 7 vehicles, 4 of those are handicap accessible. And we have trips that we plan to go out into the community, to go to a movie, go to luncheon, go grocery shopping, just a myriad of services that we will bring people to in the community. We have a group of volunteers that are fabulous people who put their time and their energy into helping people, and they help them just like they would their next door neighbor.
I'm Connie Boos, and I'm a volunteer here at Foothills Caring Corps. My background is in the medical field, so I felt perhaps I could help more by being a person who transports someone. So I go to their house, pick them up, take them down to the hospital or their doctor's appointment, wait there for them, and then bring them back home. Maybe you can help so that they're not as fearful, or they may have gotten bad news at the appointment, and I'm just an impartial, cheerful person who's there to listen. You know, if I can walk and drive I'll do all I can to help them, because someday I might be a neighbor in Foothills Caring Corps, and I know there'll be people here to take me where I want to go.
My name is Earl DeLate. I'm a volunteer for Foothills Caring Corps. Foothills has got a lot of opportunities for volunteers. They've got Meals on Wheels lunch deliveries, and you go to the hospital, pick up a hot, nutritious meal, and we take it and deliver it to these people for lunch, because a lot of them can't get out of their house. They're either wheelchair bound, or their driving privileges have been taken away due to eyesight or some other physical malady. So we're able to get them a lunch, and you see the smile on the face. It is the most rewarding feeling you can imagine. Any raise or promotion you ever got in the corporate world at work, this is just as good, if not better.
I'm Genevieve Miller. I'm 91 years, I hate the word old, 91 years young, plus 3 months. When you live alone, one of the hardest things is that you don't have someone to talk things over with. And it just means so much to have people come to the door and say, I'm here, Jenny. Thank goodness for Foothills Caring Corps. I couldn't do without him, so God bless him. That's what life is all about, is to give love and to help others. And what you give returns tenfold.
Some allergens like food or animals can be avoided, but when it comes to seasonal allergies, not so much. Here are some final tips on how to deal with seasonal allergies. Don't do outside chores like gardening, mowing the lawn, and pulling weeds. These activities can stir up pollen. If possible, just stay indoors on dry, windy days when the pollen count soars. Don't dry your clothes outside, use the dryer. And after being outdoors, change your clothes and shower before bedtime so you don't get allergens on your bedding. Know what the pollen counts are in your area. The numbers are usually reported on the local news, or you can sign up for pollen count alerts on various websites. Thank you for joining us on Your Health. I'm Erica Cardenas. See you next time.